Hello guys, it's me Simu Orahara, and in this video I want to talk about something that I talked about it yesterday in my live stream when I told the ones who were watching that Bleach story needs some prequels because the chronological of Bleach world has a lot of major events that needs to be in the form of a manga or anime episodes, and that's what we're gonna talk about in this video. For example, Kobo released a one-shot about the World of Hell, so we can consider it as a sequel for the events of the manga that ended in chapter 686. In that one-shot, Kobo put all the ingredients in order to make it like a special arc, especially since we don't know much about the World of Hell in Bleach, and I'm talking here about what was said about Hell in the manga. Kubo also gave us a new concepts in the story, such as the concept of Konsoreisai, and also the introduction of a new character such as Kazui, the son of Ichigo. So all of these things indicate that the world of Bleach is not what some people think. Because on the other hand, there are important events that occurred before the beginning of the Bleach story, and they can make them like prequels. And a good example of this is the series of the House of Dragon, which tells part of the history of the Targaryen 2000 years before the start of the events of the main series, Game of Thrones. So the prequel was about a period far away from the main story and with completely different characters. And in Bleach, we have a chronological history that is measured in hundreds of thousands of years, if I didn't say a million years. And in that long history, several major events took place that can be exploited and elaborated upon. Because in the novel of Can't Fear Your Own World, Narita and Kubo talked slightly about some of these major events. The most prominent example of these events is when Ikamoko Domoi entered to the Soul Society and tried to penetrate the Royal Palace. This event alone is able to give us several new concepts for the story of Bleach, because that incident took place thousands of years ago. The Zanpakuto as a weapon was in the process of being invented, and therefore seeing that event will give us an idea of how the Shinigami were fighting at the time, as well as another insight into the young Yamamoto. We will also be able to know more details about one of the strongest creatures, which is Ikamoko Domoi. This hollow that shared with Baragan the world of Wikomondo attacked the Soul Society and tried to break into the Royal Palace and faced Ichibi in Nimaya. There is no doubt that everyone would like to see that battle, and were there other members of their squad with Ichibi and Nimaya, or they were just alone. So this event, it can be done in a form of an OVA or a special chapter. The important thing is that making it will give us, as I said, new ideas about many characters, including Yamamoto, Ichibi, Nimaya, Ikamoko Domoi, and other characters. There is also another event, perhaps the biggest, regarding the original sin, and I have already talked about this a lot, because I consider it to be the true basis of the story of Bleach. Unlike the story of Ikamoko Domoi, which was briefly referred to in the novel, the same thing happened with the story of Ryu. The monk Ichibi spoke of how he and Ryu appeared in that original world, and how Ryu divided that world to 3 worlds, etc. And what makes that event more unique is that it took place million years ago, or something like that. Meaning if we had the chance to see that era, we will see a completely different world. And we will also see Ryu's real personality, apart from the scenes we saw him in the manga. We will see how he was thinking and why did he agree to the decision of the ancestors of the noble families to divide the original world. We will be also able to see the personalities of those ancestors, and perhaps even the hell and how it was formed from that pit that was present in the original world. We will also learn the true identity of Yhwach and what is his relationship with Ryu. And by the way, why do I say it is better for these events to be presented as a prequel, whether in the form of a special chapters or anime episodes? Because Kubo said that he didn't want to touch these events in the manga, especially the events of Ryu's past and the ancestors of noble families, because the path of the story according to him, which was about the Shinigami and Ichigo, will deviate. For this I say, alright, if that was the case, why not talk about these events in other projects far from the main story through side works? Thus Kobo will be happy because the manga is far from these events, and also the fans like us who want to delve deeper into these events of the Bleach world will have the opportunity to do so by watching these works. And I can give you another example, like the civil war that took place between the Quincy's 1,000 years ago. As it is known, 1,000 years ago, Yu Habak took his army and headed to the Sword Society to attack the Shinigami. But before that, Yu Habak waged a war against the Quincy's themselves to suppress them by force. On this page, when Yu Habak called for Xylditz to tell him about forming a new army unit, Xylditz told him why we would need a new unit, and we have extended our control over all the regions of the Empire of Light. So what he said made me think about the idea that some clans of the Quincy's were not agree with what Yu Habak was doing, like his plan to invade the Sword Society in the first place. And I do think that among those clans was the Ishida family that was against Yu Habak. Therefore, the idea of seeing the events from the point of view of some of those clans and how they received the appearance of Yu Habak, and how the first clashes were between him and them, and what was the prevailing belief that the Quincy's had regarding the origin before the sudden appearance of Yu Habak. All of these things can make a successful story that go deep in this side. So what I told you now is a little bit of a lot that can be translated into several works related to Bleach story. Of course, what I have just said needs several things that must be available so that we can see it in reality. The first, according to my point of view, is that the story should be very popular and wide, such as Dragon Ball, One Piece, Naruto. I mean, a story like Naruto, Kishimoto told everything that should be told in the manga. However, we see many side works of the story, the last of which is a manga about Sasuke, and they just have adapted it as an anime. So in my personal opinion, the story of Bleach is the one that needs such works, given that the world of the story still has many things that has not been told, and Kobo himself confirmed this. But on the other hand, let's be realistic. We are in a world that accepts material profits so that you can undertake additional projects. That's why I hope the current season of the anime will be great success, which may allow the story of Bleach to obtain other projects. Of course, if this condition happens and is fulfilled, then here we will move directly to the second condition, which is Kobo's desire to release these projects. And it's not necessary to be the stories that I have just mentioned to you, but anything that can tell us some new things about Bleach's story. Currently, what it seems to be closer to happening is the release of a new manga series about the Hell Arc, which Kobo published in the form of one-shot a year ago. So in the end, guys, tell me, what about you? The side stories that you would like to see in the future in the form of a manga or anime episodes. So guys, tell me your opinion and see you in my next video.